TGR News, broadcasting from the State of Israel.
Welcome back to TGR News.
Hello, hello.
Well, escalations on our northern border with Hamas and Hizbollah, while Israel is closer than ever to an all-out internal war with the terrorists from within. We'll talk about all this and more. But first, let's say thank you. Thank you so much for everything you guys do, supporting this ministry and allowing us to be able to feed people here in the state of Israel. It is such a wonderful thing, and it's just amazing. Every time we say the same things because it's just so true. Every time we show up to these people, they're just so grateful that believers around the world are opening their hearts and providing for in the times where they so desperately need the help. And it is such a blessing to them, to us, and I hope as well to you. And that's why we put these clips up, so that you can see the blessings that you do, and you can be as much a part of it as we possibly can help you be a part of it. It is just so beautiful. Like we always say, if you haven't been yet a part of this ministry and you want to, there are links below every video to our Patreon page and to our Support Us page. Or you can just go to thegoldenreport.com and go to the Support Us page there and choose whichever way is best for you. Also, to like and subscribe and to hit the notification bell also helps us get these videos out and reach more and more people, and in turn, hopefully be able to feed more and more people. We've talked about it before, but we have a plan to grow, to get to where we can get to feeding as much more people than we are now, much more families. And that's by getting a place where we can buy in bulk and be able to get much lower prices and be able to reach a whole lot more people. So everyone should be praying for that. Hopefully we can figure out a way to get that done.
Yeah.
Well, Ola's back.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back.
How was the wedding?
I missed you guys. Oh, it was overwhelming. Too much work. I'm glad it's finished. I'm glad they married, and yeah.
A younger sister got married.
Yes. It was wonderful. Yeah, everybody was excited. And now the routine is starting.
Yep. Yeah. Now real life, real marriage.
Yeah.
Now the work.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about what you said about the food that we're passing with your help, guys. Last time we passed the food, the lady was standing out when you went with the box, and I was filming you as always.
Yeah.
The lady was standing with her little groceries, and it's a very bad neighborhood, and you know many people there are really suffering and really struggle. And the lady looked at you and she said, "What are you doing? What he's carrying?" And I say, "Oh, he's carrying food for people." And you can tell the lady was in real struggle to provide for herself, but she was so happy, and she said, "Oh, what you're doing is such a blessing. Thank you so much." And in this moment, I felt that we should reach more people.
More people.
We really should reach. We just really pick the people. We work with the social worker, and we pick the people because that's what we can do right now. But we hope we can grow, and some families I really want to reach them and help them, and we can't right now. So yeah, let's just pray that we can.
Yes, pray about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pray about it.
Amen.
Help us grow. Amen.
Yeah.
Well, in the most recent talks between the U.S. and Iran over this ridiculous nuclear deal, the U.S. has demanded that Iran will stop using proxies in order to cause an unstable Middle East. In other words, this was a weak attempt to try and get Israel on board with this insane deal. It didn't work, not on the Israelis and not on the Israeli government. Netanyahu said that this mini deal, that's what he called it, he nicknamed it the mini deal, will not make any difference in Iran's nuclear projects and Israel's plan to stop Iran becoming a nuclear threat. And it's not going to stop us, just like he said. And I hope he keeps his word. He will, but that's the problem with democracy. You never know if but I don't think, he's just started we're only in his first year of his 4-year run here. if the left is not able to overthrow the government with all this protesting over the judicial reform, the Supreme Court reform, then I think we don't need more than 4 years, because there's no way that it's going to take 4 years or 3 more years for Iran to have already in their hands a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, some days I hope I can be a little genie and go inside Biden's head, and I can't understand how this man thinks.
Well, I don't think he does. He's senile. He's senile. He don't know. That's the problem. That's where. Well, I mean, I'm sure most people watching, I'm sure you would agree. We know that he's not all there. So the dangerous question that no one knows exactly the 100%. We all have our theories, but no one actually knows is who's running everything.
Yeah. And what's the point? What's the goal?
What's their agenda?
Yeah.
Well, we can see their agenda.
Yeah. The attack from Egypt about 3 weeks ago, where an Egyptian police officer crossed the border and killed 3 IDF soldiers, has caused a rise of hatred of Israel from the average Egyptian in Egypt. This has shown us that the world that even though the Egyptian border has been labeled our peaceful border, it is really just a ticking time bomb. Iran's proxies are on all of our borders: Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and in Gaza.
Yes,
Us.
yes. More and more now you see on the social media, on the average Egyptian. I'm not talking about radical terrorist organizations and everything. Or just you could see them talking very bad about Israel. You could see the hatred rising in Egypt. From the people, and so that it always starts from the bottom and goes to the top. Sometimes it starts at the top and goes to the bottom, but when the masses become, the leaders, it's real quick when that hatred will become a government policy, so to say.
Well, Israeli security forces always they say like it's dangerous to go to Sinai, and many Israelis go and have
Sinai,
vacations. And always have these warnings not to go, and they're still going. And even people I know go always there. And we was talking to them. It looks like it's peaceful, but you never know. And if something happened, you in foreign land. Enemy, you can tell, even if though we have peaceful contract, they're not really like us. They like, we can tell from the past, how they act towards Israel. So it's on the paper that we in peace, but it's not real.
It's not. Of course it's not real. We know it's not real. Yeah, well, this week Netanyahu agreed to allow Gaza to have an offshore gas rig to produce their own gas for energy. When he released this statement, he added that at first, Hamas will have to release the bodies and possibly live hostages and send them back to Israel. This is still too early to know what will come of this. It's just talks for now, but we have no idea what the effect this could have, and even if this will actually even happen.
Yeah.
But we know the four Israelis. 2 soldiers that we know that are dead, who knows where they buried them, what they did with them, and 2 others that may be alive still. And they've been there for a long time. And we need, we need to get them back, but so I don't know what's actually going on here with this gas rig. Our first reaction to giving Hamas in Gaza gas, which we know is a flammable substance that you easily make explosions out of, it doesn't sit well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. So I really don't know what's going on there.
Even to have negotiations with terrorist organizations is wrong.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's crazy. How can you trust them? And how can
but I agree, and I'm sure Netanyahu knows that too, of course.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that exactly what you hear is exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it might be some kind of thing about the hostages that he's trying to work something out.
Yeah.
Well, on Monday morning, when the IDF went into Jenin on a routine arrest to arrest two terrorists that were planning an attack very soon, the terrorists in the area had placed an IED with 40 pounds of explosives on the route that the IDF took. This turned into one of the largest gunfights in a long time in Israel. Over 150 Arabs came out on the streets and opened fire on the IDF soldiers. 7 IDF soldiers were injured, and Israelis used an Apache helicopter to provide cover fire to help the soldiers get out. This lasted for 8 hours. 7 terrorists were killed, and the IDF was able to get everyone out, as well as the damaged armored vehicle, from the explosion. This was the first time since 2012 that the IDF used military helicopters on a mission in Israel, in the settlement areas, in the Palestine, what people are calling it, Israel, right?
Yeah.
Well, the IED, the Jeep drove over the IED and it blew up and damaged it completely. I mean, one of the wheels came off the axles and everything, and the soldiers were injured but not killed. And it turned, like I just said, it was an 8-hour firefight.
Yeah, some of the terrorists, Arab terrorists, was shooting from inside the mosque.
Yep.
Jenin is very close to Ramallah, right?
Yes.
Yes, close to Ramallah. So they have mosque, they hide there, and was shooting from the mosque, and the helicopter shot in the open area. Nobody was injured from the helicopter. It just was like to help our soldiers to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
It was a big operation. It turned into a huge all-day thing. I think most Israelis were sitting around watching the TV as it was happening.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say, people don't understand Islam, okay, and Islamists, this different. Islamists are more radical, right?
Yeah.
So they always saying that we desecrate in their mosques, and our soldiers and our police always invading their mosque. But they took M16 and other weapons inside the mosque, was shooting on our IDF soldiers from within the mosque, desecrating their own holy site. And this is not the only thing. We know many of them using alcohol, which Islam not, it's also so hypocritical.
Yes. Yeah, well, like you said, they chose to turn their own mosque into a military fighting ground. So I mean, they can't complain about what happens next, right?
Yeah, and we didn't ruin it, even though Islam, I don't want to start with that.
Well, Israel is beginning to talk about another large military mission in the Judea and Samaria area, like the last one in 2001. While the IDF would suffer a loss of IDF soldiers, it would give us the ability to take back the safety of our civilians and allow Israel to take a large number of weapons out of the hands of the terrorists. A large mission like this is long overdue, and most of Israel is asking for it. And we do need it. We do need it. In 2001, it was called Chomat Magen, wall shield.
Yeah.
It's always shield this, shield that.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do something big like it was in 2012.
2001 was Chomat Magen.
Oh, okay. And then we had something in 2012.
Yes, we did, but it wasn't as big as Chomat Magen, yeah. But that's the size that they're, because Chomat Magen, everyone in Israel talks about Chomat Magen, a wall shield 2001 operation. When here in Israel they talk about it, they usually talk about Jenin. When the part where the IDF went into Jenin, because that was where the biggest fight was. But a lot of people forget that it wasn't just Jenin. It was in the same day the IDF went into almost all the Arab neighborhoods, towns, and cities where terrorists were known to be hunkered down and making plans to make a suicide. Back then, it was a lot more of a suicide attacks on it in Israel. There was, it was a big mission. All the units in the IDF were involved. I was involved in that mission. It was a big mission. Yeah. That's what everyone's wanting again, and I agree.
You agree that we need it?
Yes, we need it. We need to do that, and we need to go next time, because it's going to be a next time. But the next time the rockets fly out of Gaza, we need to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Ground troops on the ground and go in.
Jenin known as a very big route of terror. Terror
Yes.
is coming out. It's also many people when they talk about Jenin, they talk about refugee camp. But it's not only refugee camp. You have a big
Yes,
city.
it's a big city.
Huge city. And
But the refugee camp is usually
It's
because
ins-
it's where the terrorists sit. It's just like in 2001, the big problems was in the refugee camp, because of the way it's built. It's so
dense.
dense,
Yeah.
and the alleys
Yeah.
are so narrow, and the house
It's
is
hard
all.
to get in there. Yeah.
So when you're in there, it's strategically better for the bad guys
Yeah.
when they're sitting there waiting for the IDF to come down those little narrow streets, those little
Yeah.
alleyways, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're in there. Well, on Tuesday in the Benjamin area at a gas station outside of the town of Eli,
Eli.
another terrorist attack that killed 4 Israelis. The terrorist drove up to the gas station, got out of with his M16, 2 of them, went into the restaurant and began firing. When they came out, an armed civilian was able to kill one of the terrorists while the other took off in one of the victims' cars. The second terrorist switched to a taxi after driving his car, and about 6 miles down from the road, from that gas station where it all happened, Israel security forces stopped the taxi and took out the second terrorist.
Yeah.
This was also a very horrible terrorist attack. I mean, it was some are worse than others. The way the evilness of the attack and the hatred and the way they do it, and the success that they had of actually killing 4 people.
Yeah.
It's this one was a bad one. It really was.
Imagine you going with your family to just eat hummus.
Yeah, it was a
Just sit in
hummus
a-
restaurant.
And you just sit and eat, and then somebody come in, terrorist, and start just shooting on everybody.
Yeah.
And again, it shows that how important for us to carry weapons.
Yes, it is.
Because most of the latest terrorist attacks been stopped by citizens.
Not the latest.
civilian-
All of them. All of them. Most all of the terrorists that, especially gunfire terrorists, have been stopped by armed civilians. And the reason is because they're there. By the time the IDF, the police, the Israeli SWAT, Yamam, or any of these
Yeah.
other people show up, it takes a while. It does. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, no one can be everywhere all the time.
Yeah, an important thing to know is Road 660, which is the main road that go next this area.
Yes.
It goes from Arab villages and Arab cities and through the Israeli settlements, they call it.
And cities.
Like Eli.
And cities.
And the Road 60 is for both Arabs, Palestinian Arabs.
I know where you're going. It's about the apartheid.
Yeah, I want to I want to say that many people claim that Israel is an apartheid state and we have separation for, we poor Palestinians, we just throw them in open air prison, Gaza and stuff like this. So I want to tell you, if we had apartheid, maybe this terror attack wouldn't happen.
Well, it wouldn't happen if it was apartheid.
Because the 60 road is
We would
for
be
both.
segregated and separated where they couldn't happen. They couldn't kill us if we were apartheid.
We give permission to work for more than 200,000 Palestinians in the good times, and less when we have terror attacks, of course.
Most of those out of Gaza as well.
Yes, and they'll go into settlements to work there with Israelis. They get triple salaries than they get in the Palestinian Authority, and they like it. So we give them the freedom to work with us and just provide for their families. And those people, that's the payback. That's the payback. And I'm just
Yeah, well, it's not obviously it's not apartheid here. You got Arabs in the army.
Yeah.
You got Arab,
We have judge.
Arab judges. So it can't be apartheid.
Yes.
Yeah.
On our northern border in Lebanon, or some say even in Israel, Hizbollah has placed 2 guard stations with armed soldiers on watch. This is most likely Hezbollah following the orders from Iran to try and provoke Israel into a war with Lebanon.
Yep.
Well, for 2 weeks, this did happen. The Israeli news didn't cover it too much. I was even thinking it's fake because on the media you have many
Yeah.
fake news.
I just think it's that big of a deal. But it's you're the one who's been talking about it more than me.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about it here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have brought it up. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But first of all, there's 3 lines on the border between Israel and all of the countries around us. You have the actual border, and then on both sides, of course, you have the zone for military zone, and then you have the border for like we can walk all the way up
Blue
to that
line.
border.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the actual border with the blue line is it's not marked usually even with a real fence. It's just a couple markers and stuff.
Yeah.
And what I have a feeling is the Hizbollah, that what they're doing is they came right up close to it, and because the IDF would not allow Hizbollah or anyone to bring armed guards over onto our border. I just don't believe it. We'll have to. I'll tell you what. We can look next time it comes on. We can research it, see where they say it's at. Let's drive down there. You can go all the way up to the first fence. We can take up binoculars and we can see for ourselves what it is. Because I don't think that they are actually crossed our border.
Yeah, well, what's important for me to understand is what their purpose is, probably to provoke and to show. This is the thing about all this terror organization and Arabic mentality general, right?
Yeah.
They push the boundaries a little bit more and a little bit more.
It's exactly like you said. Iran is putting them up to it to provoke us. And it just so happens, if you remember at the beginning of this video, we just talked about how the U.S., in order to get the deal through, is asking Iran to drop its proxies from around Israel.
Yeah.
So it's like the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah.
Push them harder before you pull it back, right? So that it shows that you're. It's like when you want to when someone that's crooked wants to put something on sale. Say I'm selling this desk, for $45.
Yeah.
So I know next week I want to put it on sale, so I'll put it up to $55 for a week, and then I'll put it on sale back to $45.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, So that's what I think is going on.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Well, something else that we didn't mention too much, but I think it's maybe we'll include it in this video. We always told you that we're going to inform you about what's going on in the Temple Mount. So there's something that going on. It's pretty quiet, but it may take, it may do some difference in a little bit. One of the Likud members, Amit Halevi, his name, he proposed to split the Temple Mount.
Yes.
And it's not official yet, no bills, bills offered, nothing. But he suggests to split the Temple Mount. So the Dome of the Rock will be Jewish and all the northern territory.
Yeah, there's been lots of research and archaeology people who talked about, they showed where you can take Al-Aqsa Mosque. Because that's where the platform that was built bigger by Herod, not the actual Temple Mount. And you could make the Temple, you could have both on one site. Yeah, there's been people have been talking about that for a long time. If that ever does pass a bill and anything ever happens, of course, yes, we would be right there on it. Absolutely, you're correct. Yeah. Well, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I talked too much today.
No. That's a trick.
Yes, it is.
Well, don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com. And until next week.
Shabbat shalom.
God bless.